Don't forget to like and subscribe to follow good stories. Back at the party, the girls were greeting each other very joyfully. This blonde, curly-haired girl was a close friend of Lady Lucrezia, and she was truly furious for not knowing where her friend was. She suddenly didn't even let me get in the Delavale carriage. Earlier, Lucrezia had sent an apology letter. I'll have to go separately today. I'm sorry. She was really confused having to stand here alone like this. A servant announced, Cesare Bounapart is entering. All eyes were drawn in that direction. The Duke entered, adorned in a striking noble outfit with his distinctive green hair. Everyone respectfully bowed to Cesare. In one corner, two girls were whispering, Lord Cesare always looks dashing. The other girl added, indeed. Especially, do you think he'll be going on another night adventure tonight? Meanwhile, Cesare stepped up the stairs to the highest point of the party and began to speak. Dear members of the assembly, bureaucrats, gentlemen, ladies, and older folks whose hobby is visiting places like this. Down below, people were murmuring and talking non-stop. Cesare continued, thank you for gracing us with your presence. I am Cesare Bounapart. This is my birthday banquet, which is celebrated every year, unlike the previous heads of the Bounapart family. Now, since you all seem bored with my long opening speech, let's get to the main point. Hearing this, everyone got excited. It was finally the part they had been waiting for. Cesare continued, as you may have heard in passing, I have a younger sister. Today's grand banquet offers the perfect opportunity for her introduction. Then, the Duke turned around and extended his hand behind him. Please be kind and greet my younger sister, who has come from afar. Adelaide slowly stepped out with black shoes adorned with yellow flowers, her distinct green hair, appearing like an elegant lady with a black dress that perfectly highlighted her role as the center of attention of today's party. Her presence overshadowed all the other girls attending. At this moment, in a distant corner, our blonde girl was still in a daze. Why wasn't I introduced to her earlier? Right now, Adelaide was sitting comfortably on the sofa, with all eyes on her, and to her left was Lady Lucrezia. Adelaide's noble beauty left everyone in awe. Suddenly, a man spoke up. Did you say you're from Capallo? Adelaide elegantly responded, yes. Do you know of it? The man stepped closer, placing his hand over his chest and respectfully bowing to Adelaide. A distant relative of mine has a villa in Capallo. If I had known that Lady Adelaide was there, I would have sought a meeting long ago. Hearing this, Adelaide calmly replied, as you may know, until 3 months ago, I was nothing but a mere country girl. I was not someone a gentleman like you should waste precious time meeting. The man extended his hand, hiding such elegance and pretending to be a country girl. There are some things in the world that can't be hidden, like a sharp needle in a pocket. In response, Adelaide placed her hand on the man's. You're making me blush, sir. Are you teasing a debutante? Kissing the back of Adelaide's hand and not forgetting to cast a probing glance at her, the man replied, if I have spoken any falsehood, then may I be thrown into the fires of hell this very instant. Looking down from above, Adelaide seemed to have played the role of a noble lady very successfully and delivered her final blow. If such a noble gentleman were thrown into hell's flames, all the young ladies would surely mourn. Excited by her response, he invited Adelaide to dance with him. But at this very moment, the haughty lady withdrew her hand, turned her face away, leaving the three young men in utter surprise. From surprise, they were completely captivated by Adelaide's beauty and eloquence. Such beauty and noble grace. A truly remarkable lady has finally emerged in high society. If only she would dance with me just once. If only I could embrace her just once. Standing afar and observing, the blonde girl was truly admiring Adelaide's beauty. She's incredibly beautiful. I have to talk to her. With that thought, the girl tried to push her way forward to talk to Adelaide. But there were too many people, and she couldn't get through. At that moment, Lucrezia noticed her and called out, Lady Genevieve? It is really Lady Genevieve. Saying this, Lucrezia stood up and introduced her to Adelaide. Lady Adelaide, may I introduce you to my friend? Hearing this, Genevieve felt overjoyed. Good job, Lucrezia. Following her around and gathering information was totally worth it. Adelaide immediately agreed and looked over at the blonde girl. May the goddess's blessing be with you. I am Adelaide Bounapart. It's a pleasure to meet you, Genevieve excitedly replied. May the goddess's blessing be with you. I am Genevieve Malatesta, Adelaide suggested. If you don't mind, would you like to join our conversation? Of course, our enthusiastic girl was more than ready to agree. Lucrezia pointed to the seat next to her. Lady Genevieve, you can sit next to me. The blonde girl started contemplating. In high society, it's customary for the highest-ranking person's seat to be filled last. This means Lucrezia is acknowledging Adelaide as her superior. I've aligned myself with the right person. How wonderful it would be if the three of us stayed together like this. Before she could finish celebrating, the voices of men behind her resounded. Looks like a cuckoo has laid its egg in the nest we were aiming for. Genevieve froze upon hearing these words. They didn't stop there and continued. Lady Adelaide, have you ever seen a cuckoo in real life? They look quite greedy. Too embarrassed by such words, the poor blonde girl didn't know how to react and could only stand there, taking the insults. At this moment, Adelaide spoke up. Lady Genevieve, have you ever seen an eagle hunt? Not understanding Adelaide's intention, the girl asked back. Pardon? Opening the fan in her hand, Adelaide gracefully continued. Eagles are heavy birds. They aren't swift, nor do they fly very high. Though they always lose to hawks in the sky, they're still greedy, so they come down to the ground and flap their wings, trying to push other birds away. Not only Genevieve but also everyone else was stunned by Adelaide's words. But she didn't stop there. But I do like canaries. Lady Genevieve's hair is a beautiful canary like orange. Hearing these words, Genevieve's affection for Adelaide increased tremendously. Adelaide then turned her sharp gaze to the two insolent men. Looks like the two of you think differently from me. Would you kindly excuse yourselves? The two men hastily explained. Lady Adelaide, that was just a high society joke. However, Adelaide seemed unwilling to let them go easily. She closed her fan and responded in a stern voice. Your jokes aren't funny, and I know very well you both think I'm a fool. Upon hearing Adelaide's words, the crowd began to buzz with excitement. Everyone believed that those men were truly insolent. To dare to regard Lady Bounapart as a fool on a day like this, to behave in such an unrefined manner in front of a noble lady, should we inform Lord Cesare? Hearing the commotion, the two men began to grit their teeth in fear. They quickly apologized and left. Adelaide looked gently at Genevieve and said, Don't pay attention to the words of such pathetic people. Tears welled up in Genevieve's eyes as her heart overflowed with gratitude toward Adelaide. This kind of thing happened frequently when I was with Lucrezia, but she never stood up for me. Thinking so, she tearfully thanked Adelaide. A man spoke up. The seas around Saint-Nar are mostly too deep for marine life, with only the northwestern region near Orquanina being an exception. You are very observant. Another reason is the lack of large bushes suitable for shipbuilding, so the locals often use bamboo to build boats, Adelaide continued. That's why maintaining good relations with Saruk is inevitable. Have you heard that Trivium Port Duquesne Trading Company has been in contact with Saruk? Genevieve couldn't understand what everyone was talking about. Meanwhile, everyone continued chatting animatedly with Adelaide, praising her astonishing knowledge, showering her with compliments and eager glances. In response to their compliments, Adelaide gently replied, I suppose you gentlemen think of me as Beatrice. At this moment, a man noticed the reference and quickly responded, At least it's true that my tongue is trembling and frozen, and I certainly cannot look up at her. Adelaide merely smiled and replied, But I am different from Beatrice. I can sit by a clear, cool, and sweet riverbank, or sit at the edge of a small boat ride with a gentleman. Hearing this, the young man's eyes shone even brighter at Adelaide's charm. Suddenly, the bespectacled young man kneeled down. You say you're not Beatrice, but to my eyes, I can only see you as a woman adorned with an olive wreath over a white veil. Wherever you go, even if it's not heaven but hell, I would follow you. Lady Adelaide. Before he could finish his sentence, Cassera appeared out of nowhere and called out, Adelaide. He showed up behind Adelaide, and she turned around to greet him. Oh, you've arrived, brother? With his tall and imposing figure, Cassera unintentionally put pressure on the young man kneeling there. Cassera asked what was going on. Adelaide smiled and replied, We were having a delightful conversation. He just said he'd follow me to hell if I asked. I was considering accepting the invitation. Hearing this, Cassera gave a mysterious smile. He leaned closer to Adelaide. So, has the King of Hell made his appearance? Surprised by his question, she covered her mouth with the fan and asked back, Is that how it seems? Cassera looked at Adelaide with a sense of resignation, silently evaluating her. A bit arrogant, quite distant, and extremely charming. Meanwhile, Genevieve was astonished to see Cassera. These siblings really do share those traits. At that moment, Kisera looked at the man and spoke. He can't offer a sailing ship but says he will follow you to hell. What a fool, thinking you can seduce me that way on my birthday. Adelaide then stepped in to rescue the young man. Brother, if you keep that up, no one will talk to me. Then I suppose I'll just have to take care of you myself, Kisera replied. After saying that, he extended his hand inviting Adelaide to a dance, and she quickly agreed. The two of them took each other's hands and started a waltz. Watching this, Genevieve thought to herself, those two are just standing together, but I can't help being mesmerized by them. Being too focused on them, Genevieve noticed that Kisera seemed a bit angry, but she couldn't figure out why. Adelaide and Kisera quickly became the center of attention at the party as they began their dance. Adelaide spoke up, brother, are you feeling unwell? Should I call a physician? Kisera responded, cut it out, that irritating tone. There's no need to keep pretending. Adelaide smiled at his response. Pretending? That hurts my feelings. With the same cold tone, Kisera said, that's exactly what I intended. But if it's a wound from you, I'll gladly take it. What do you think I'll do? At this moment, Kisera shifted his step and continued, if you wait and I slip into your bed, are you sure you won't cry like you did last time? Adelaide was stunned upon hearing those words. Her expression quickly changed as she turned the awkwardness into a smile. Cry? I would welcome my brother with joy. While speaking, she moved closer to Kisera to gain the upper hand. This action of hers provoked Kisera, and he gritted his teeth in anger. I told her to act like my little sister, but this is overdoing it. The dance ended amidst cheers from the crowd. At that moment, Adelaide asked, has Lord Ezra Lot arrived yet? I thought you were going to introduce us. Kisera asked why she was asking about that person. Adelaide replied, you haven't forgotten the arrangement with Delavale, have you? At that very moment, an announcement was made. Lord Ezra Delavale has arrived. A man stepped into the hall under the moonlight. This man interrupted Adelaide and Kisera's dance. Excuse me, could you be Lady Adelaide Bounapart? At this point, Kisera's large body blocked her view, and Adelaide could only see that Ezra had blonde hair. She noticed the frown on Kisera's face. So, what's meant to happen will happen. Will Kisera hold back to let the plan unfold smoothly, or will he pull Adelaide closer to himself? Don't forget to hit like and subscribe to follow the Manhwa series High Society.